Men, please remove your caps, just like I've done. Let us bow our heads for prayer. Father, we thank you very much that the program is starting after we have been waiting. Thank you, Almighty God, for those of us who are around already. And thank you, Lord, for those who will also be joining. Lord, we commit this entire program unto you. It's a program of celebration, 30th anniversary and the first of the type of the alumni reunion for this department. We are grateful. Father, we pray, Lord, that you order every bit of this program, and in everything let your name be glorified. Amen. Grant journey mercies to those who are on their way. Amen. And after the program, journey mercies back to their various destinations. Thank you, Father, that we can pray. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Shall we remain standing as we take first the national anthem and then futa anthem? Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Dean, staff and students of Estate Management, School of Environmental Technology, Federal University of Technology, Akure, I want to welcome us all to the 30th anniversary and first alumni reunion, Estate Management Department, FUTA. Once again, you are welcome. Right now, we want to bring our special guest to the top table. And of course, the first person I would like to invite to the top table here, while we are still awaiting the arrival of the Vice Chancellor, is the Dean, the host Dean, School of Environmental Technology, Professor Bolaji Kashim. I would also like to invite to the high table our special guest for today, the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology in Ondo State. Is ably represented here this morning by his special assistant, Dr. Akinrimade. You are welcome to FUTA, sir. Let me also invite to the high table to join our guest. Our guest speaker for today, Mr. Abayomi Faweyimi. I will also like to invite to the high table the representative of FUTA Alumni worldwide. He is ably represented here today by Professor Olumide Oseni. You are welcome, sir. Let me invite to the high table our former acting Vice Chancellor of FUTA, and of course the pioneer Dean of School of Environmental Technology, Professor E.A. Adeyemi. While we are still awaiting the arrival of the Vice Chancellor, let me quickly also invite to the high table the HOD Estate Management FUTA, Dr. Mrs. Adebola Mary Ajayi. Quickly, let me recognize some of our erudite professors here. I have first the former Deputy Vice Chancellor Development. He's also a member of the School of Environmental Technology. He is Professor Tolulope Akibogun. I have our former Dean of that school here, Professor Olujimi. You are welcome, sir. We also have in our midst the the General Secretary, FUTA Alumni Worldwide, Mr. Shaba Kayode. You are welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to the high table. Before I do that, let me quickly recognize members of staff of Estate Management Department. We have Professor A.S. Ashaju. He is also one of the people that we are going to honor today. Please, sir, can the ushers please take him to his seat, please. Announcing the arrival of the Vice Chancellor, ably represented here today by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Rufus Deji Ogushemi. You are welcome, sir. Let me invite ESV TPL Adisa SY. He is the Dean School, the HOD School of Estate Management between September 1992 and October 1995. He's one of the awardees for today. Please, can you move to your seat, please? That's the pioneer HOD of Estate Management. We have ESV Omoni MI. Please, can you join him at the seat there? Also to join the awardees is Professor A.S. Ashaju. And also Professor M.O. Bello. Also Professor M.A. Adebayo. Professor Mrs. V.A. Bello. And Dr. M.B. Obuleye. These are the past head of Department of Estate Management, School of Environmental Technology, FUTA. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, our distinguished guests, I would like to invite to the top table the head of Department Estate Management, School of Environmental Technology, Dr. Mrs. Adebola Mary Ajayi, for a welcome address.
The Vice Chancellor, sir, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellors, academics, the Dean, School of Environmental Technology, the able representative of our special guests, the awardees, staff and alumni, students, gentlemen of the press, invited guests, noble colleagues, spiritual fathers, friends of the department, ladies and gentlemen, great Futarians. It gives me great pleasure to stand before this honorable gathering as we celebrate 30 years of God's faithfulness over the department. To God be the glory for His goodness and mercy that kept us all to be living witnesses of this premier reunion of the alumni of the department has produced in 30 years of our existence. With great joy in my heart, I welcome everyone. With dwindling resources for the funding of education in Nigeria, there is no better time than now to gather the products of a university to give back to the system in terms of provision of infrastructures, endowments, and manpower development. As estate management marks our 30th anniversary, I feel the need to organize the first alumni homecoming. It is a time to count our blessings, a time of reconnection between staff and alumni, a time to resolve our differences and move the department to the next level of excellence. For the staff, it's a time to see the results of academic labors of the past years and be glad. For the students, the alumni reunion will broaden their vision of the prospects of this noble profession as they interact with alumni from different placements in life. Products of estate management, FUTA, home and abroad, are in diverse fields: estate surveying, private practice, in construction companies, in oil and gas industry, in the banking sector, in the civil service, in business, in media, in sports, in tourism, in ICT, and in lecturing, of which I am one, producing more estate surveyors and valuers to manage our nation's blessed land resources. As at date, the department can boast of having 4 professors and 4 associate professors, 3 of whom were announced on Monday this week. Thank you. Hitherto, the Lord has helped us. Estate management FUTA is well represented in the professional body with our members in education and other committees. And recently, one of us was appointed to the highest ruling council of Estate Survey and Value Administration Board of Nigeria, SVABON. The journey has been huge, but with challenges. The department hopes to attain greater heights in infrastructural development of offices, computer lab, departmental library and lecture rooms, and we hope to purchase a 30-seater poster bus for our field trips. With the help of God, through our teeming alumni population and well-meaning Nigerians who are seated right here, the sky is not the limit to what estate management FUTA can achieve. We look forward to have become greater than this in the next 20 years when we gather for our 50th anniversary by God's grace. Once again, I welcome you all to this gathering. Long live estate management, long live FUTA, long live Nigeria. Thank you.
Let us sustain the applause for the HOD. Before I invite the Dean for his speech, let me quickly introduce the Chairman Local Organizing Committee for this alumni reunion is ESV Adiola Taiwo. And also permit me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to recognize the great Futarians here. Great Futarians, great estate management students, great School of Environmental Technology students. You are welcome. At this point, I would like to invite the Dean School of Environmental Technology, Professor Bolaji Kajim, for his comments.
The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the DVCA, the representative of the Honorable Commissioner of Education, the Special Assistant, invited guests, all ESM alumni, staff, and students of the university, especially the Department of Estate Management. Great Futarians. The School of Environmental Technology was established in the year 1989, and at inception, there were only 27 students and 8 academic staff, with a pioneer dean, a person of our revered Professor E.A. Adeyemi, the first professor of architecture in Nigeria, and probably in Africa. At inception, the school started with 4 academic programs: architecture, estate management, quantity survey, and urban and regional planning. When the Department of Industrial Design came on board during the 1992-93 session, however, it took off fully during the 1993-94 session. The Department of Survey and Geoinformatics commenced in 2009-2010, while the Department of Building took off in 2011-2012, making a complete school of built environment. I'm happy to inform you that all programs are fully accredited by NUC and professional bodies as at the present moment. The current student population stands at 2,400, while the current staff population stands at 143 with 26 professors. I must sincerely appreciate the head of department, estate management, that we are celebrating today for his bold initiative of bringing the alumni together for the good of the department. This initiative was fully supported by our able Vice Chancellor, Professor Joseph Adiola Fuambe. The school sincerely appreciates his support. The first of this kind of gathering came up on the 13th of April 2019 by Department of Architecture in honor of Professor E. Adeyemi. And the gathering was titled "The Life, Time, and Work of Professor Adeyemi." We thank God for his life and contributions. Sound academic is a sound academic, his research output, and contribution to nation building and human development. The significance of this gathering is to allow the graduates to be kept informed and abreast of the progress of the department since their graduation, which in turn will have a multiplier effect and bring many benefits to the university. The School of Environmental Technology, current students, and alumni in diaspora. I therefore welcome all the awardees of today and other invited guests within and outside the university to this historic event of 30th anniversary of the Department of Estate Management and FUTA. I wish you happy celebration. To our invited guests from outside the university, please feel free to serve the serene and beautiful campus of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and the 7th best University of Technology. Thank you, and once again, you are all welcome.
A bigger round of applause for Professor Bolaji Kajim. The Vice Chancellor, sir, our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to recognize all members of staff of Estate Management Department. Please, wherever you are seated, can you all stand up for recognition? All staff of Estate Management Department, let us applaud them. Thank you very much. You are welcome. You can have a seat. Let me invite our special guest, the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology in Ondo State, Pastor Femi Agagu, ably represented here this morning by Dr. Akinrimade to take a speech. You are welcome, sir. Can we sustain the applause?
Thank you very much. As usual, we give glory to God Almighty, the Alpha and Omega of everything. We have cause to thank God because of this symbolic occasion of the reunion of the alumni of Estate Management Department of FUTA. A journey of 30 years being sustained is a gracious one before our God. So I appreciate God on behalf of the department, on behalf of the alumni in general, and the organizers. Having given glory to God, I want to especially send greetings of the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology to the Vice Chancellor of FUTA, who is ably represented here by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Chairman of the occasion, the Dean of Faculty of Environmental Studies, Professor Kashim, the HOD of Estate Management, our guest lecturer, and every other invited guest here, the staff and student of Estate Management Department. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to please tender the unreserved apology of the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology for his inability to be personally here. As I am speaking with you, we have been struggling to ensure that we keep a date with you here. But I called our friend, the chairman of the organizing committee, I think about 3 or 4 days ago, that again, unplanned, impromptu, Mr. Governor has given another responsibility to the commissioner to represent him in the program in Abuja tomorrow. So I think by the time now we should be on the air, flying to Abuja this morning. So please accept his unreserved apology. Then, since we are here to take a scholarly lecture from Mr. Fawehimi, all we can wish you is a goodwill and success in these great endeavors that you have been doing. This is an academic culture that is very, very sacrosanct and apposite to the growth of estate management profession. The program for today, the lecture, and especially the title or the theme of this year's first alumni reunion lecture, Estate Management, Past, Present, and Future, is very apposite because of transformations that are constantly going on in the built environment. The role of estate managers in ensuring a livable and resilient communities in our society cannot be overemphasized. Therefore, coming together like this to brainstorm, to bring ourselves to contemporary issues in environmental management, in estate development is very, very apposite, especially when you look at events, environmental events, disasters or flood due to haphazard development and unplanned cities. So you see flooding here and there in almost all our cities, even places where floodings were not catastrophic before. It is new things we begin to see. In Akungba, in Kare, in Akure, different occurrences are coming up by the seasons. So that is why I said that the role of estate managers in ensuring a better and livable community is extremely very, very important. I also, in the manual, discovered that there's going to be an endowment fund. I think there's going to be an endowment for the department or for the alumni. I think this is extremely very important. Number one, government alone cannot do everything that is required to be done. FUTA as an institution alone cannot do everything that is required to be done. So having a synergy between different components or stakeholders of the society to generate the resources that are required to build our system is very, very important. And in fact, I am happy that it is in tune with the thoughts and vision of the current government of Ondo State under Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SAN. Sometimes in October 2017, he launched the Education Endowment Fund, popularly known as OSEF in Ondo State. And then today, that fund has been fully on ground so that there can be a pool to support a government subvention to the education sector, so that your alumni bring about this initiative is also a very, very welcome development. So I really want to congratulate you, and I want to wish you well on behalf of the Honorable Commissioner. I say that we are going to have a very thought-provoking and eventful alumni lecture today. Reunion is an important thing. It brings the opportunity for many of us that we have not seen ourselves in the past decades. It's an opportunity today to come together, to review our past, to look at our present, and to project into the future. So it is a welcome one. On behalf of the Commissioner, Mr. Vice Chancellor, and the Chairman, and Dean, I welcome you all, and I say you have an eventful program in the name of Jesus. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, representative of the Honorable Commissioner for Education in Ondo State. I have the permission of the Vice Chancellor to recognize and welcome a retired professor, but not tired, Professor Iwola. You are welcome, sir. And also Professor Venerable Lasende, you are welcome, sir. I would also like to recognize and welcome the wife of the first professor of biochemistry in FUTA. I would like to recognize and welcome the wife of the first professor of biochemistry in FUTA, Lady Olushola Olawoye. You are welcome, ma'am. I would also like to recognize our daughter who presented a lecture today, yesterday in FUTA, Mrs. Adeyemo Adebola. She's one of the awardees. You are welcome. We have the chaplain, Pastor Ajayi Obi. You are welcome, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the Vice Chancellor of FUTA, represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Dejurufos Obushemi, for his welcome address.
I bring with you
greetings from the Vice Chancellor, who is currently on official assignment outside the town. He will have loved to be in our midst for the love he has for students, the alumni of the Federal University of Technology Akure, for the School of Environmental Technology, and in particular for the Department of Estate Management. But he has to be away for very important assignments. He may not be back until sometimes later in the week. He said his greetings and believes that today will be a memorable day. The Department of Estate Management, the School of Environmental Technology, and in FUTA. Because what is happening this morning is a laudable thing. And we believe that it's one of those great things that can make FUTA to move forward and achieve greater heights more than where we are now. I want to read his address. The Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, even represented here this morning by the Special Assistant, Dr. Yomi Akirimade, a former acting Vice Chancellor of this great university, and we all know he is our Baba. We cannot be here without him. Without him, all of us that are here, we will not have any cause to be here. Even the celebration of today will not be. That's the person that we revere so much. Baba, we want to appreciate you, sir. And everybody that's seated here today and those who are not here, we owe him a lot. And sincerely for him to be able to come again to celebrate this day with us, we just trust God that God will give you more days to stay with us. Each time we see you, we are very happy. That's a person of Professor Adeyemi, who happens to be the first professor of architecture in Sub-Saharan Africa. The Dean, School of Environmental Technology, the acting of the Department of Estate Management. Before the head of the department, and then we have, there are many of us at the top here. We have our former Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development, Professor Churulope Akimbogu. We also have the immediate past dean of the School of Environmental Technology here, Professor Jab Olujimi. The acting head of departments, other heads of department in the School of Environmental Technology present here, our guest speaker, distinguished awardees. I'm looking at very old faces there. I've almost forgotten some of these faces. We can see them very beautifully seated over there. Distinguished alumni of the Department of Estate Management, members of staff and students of the Department of Estate Management, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to welcome you all to the 30th anniversary and first alumni reunion of the Department of Estate Management of the Federal University of Technology Akure. I welcome the guest speaker. We thank you for making our time to share your ideas and experiences with us on this auspicious occasion. It is my pleasure to welcome sincerely the distinguished members of the alumni of the department who have traveled from far and near to be part of this event. I warmly welcome you back home. The Department of Estate Management was established about 30 years ago with a vision to produce competent estate surveyors and valuers with sufficient technical knowledge and skill to optimize the use of land resources in both government and private sectors of the economy, and also to produce practitioners that have entrepreneurship skills of value who can gainfully be employed in the real estate industry. The journey of 30 years, you will agree with me, is not a child's play. And I'm pleased to know that the department has produced graduates who are making waves in the various fields of endeavor are contributing significantly to the development of the Nigerian economy. I heartily rejoice with the Department of Estate Management under the leadership of Dr. Mrs. Emi Ajayi for thinking it wise to put together this wonderful event. I also, by extension, congratulate the Dean, School of Environmental Technology, under whose watch this historic event is happening. I congratulate the members of the local organizing committee for their enthusiasm and selfless efforts that they have put into making this event a huge success. I must, at this juncture, commend the contributions of the alumni to the feats that have been achieved by the department and by extension the overall development of our university. This certainly could not have been possible but for the forbearance and hands of fellowship extended by you. I am impressed by your commitment, your dedication and sacrifices to your alma mater. You will agree with me that your department and indeed our campus have been transformed into a beautiful habitation with several developmental projects. As we all know, governments alone can no longer provide the required funds to successfully run a university. It is worthy of note that the contributions and involvement of alumni can boost the university's quest towards becoming a world-class university. And therefore, I implore you to use your good offices, your influence and connections in the society for the benefit of your alma mater, particularly in the areas of endowment of prices, funding of research, donations of physical facilities and equipment, as well as material support, so that together we can build lasting legacies. Management will continue to provide visionary leadership to make further in Saturday of learning, teaching and research of our dreams and a destination of choice among other universities in Nigeria. It is my sincere prayer that the Almighty God will continue to support you and grant you favor in all your endeavors. As I conclude this address, let me assure you once again that the university management is ready to partner with you in this developmental journey of the university. The University Advancement Center is positioned to provide the required support for alumni engagement efforts, either to individuals or associations. Finally, on behalf of the management, I wish you a successful 30th anniversary celebration, alumni reunion, and journey messages back to your various destinations. Thank you very much.
Let us sustain the applause for the Vice Chancellor. Let me recognize and welcome the Chairman, NIES, Ondo State, Estate Surveyor Phila Elawi. You are welcome, sir. We'll now go to the lecture, which is on estate management, past, present, and future. I would like to welcome to the podium Mr. Abayomi Fawemi, who is a guest lecturer, to do justice to that topic. A round of applause for him, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, that's a great thing. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, very happy to be here. Thank you very specially for this opportunity. I did not take it for granted. It's a privilege to be asked to present this talk or speech, as it may be described in various ways. I must say the topic before me is to talk about estate management, past, present, and future. I don't know how to start with the past because there's only one person that can talk about the past, and the man is right behind me, and that's Professor Adeyemi. Many people don't know Professor Adeyemi. Professor Adeyemi has been a professor since I was a baby. I've never known him except as Professor Adeyemi. When I joined this, became a student 30 years ago, he was already a professor. At that point, he told us that he was an old professor. So he's now an older. I think it's something to be grateful to God for, that he's still around 30 years after to see the reward of what he has done. For the sake of those of us that don't know, this 30 years ago was not the first attempt to start estate management and architecture. It actually started 34 years. But when you want to run the Olympics, sometimes they say there was a false start. So those students were moved to geology and geophysics because they had to wait for my set to come and start it properly. So if you change to the next slide, I want to thank you, and I also want to thank all the people that have worked in the department. Professor Yademi as our first day. I remember I saw Mrs. Ani Ikaye, who was our first secretary. Yes, Mrs. Ani Ikaye, I remember that very well. And then the various heads of departments, and they'll be recognized at the right time. I want to also thank all the staff that have done a great work. 30 years running the department is great. And also the students, great Futarians. I was also a Futarian. I don't know whether we retire from being a Futarian, but I think I'm still one. So I'm qualified to say we great Futarians, is that correct? So, my assignment is very simple. It's just to lead us through a conversation as shortly as possible and try to help us connect. Please help me appreciate the head of the department. Dr. Mrs. Ajayi was also one of us a couple of years back and is now the head of the department. So let me talk a little bit about the past, the present, based on what I was asked to do. So in 1989, there was the second attempt to start the School of Environmental Technology, and that was when Mindset was admitted. So actually 30 years ago, only 2 people in this room were around, Prof and I, and you know it's the older one. When we resumed, there was nothing. There was no department, there was no departmental office, there was no lecturer, there was nothing. Interestingly, there was only one textbook in the library on estate management. Just one textbook. Prof, sir, you remember that? There was no departmental office. And that's why we had a very special relationship with Professor Adiebi, because he was the dean, HOD, mentor, MSA president, student, he was everything. There was nobody, there was no senior, there was nothing. And that was how the department started in 1989. And for me, it was a very, very surprising thing. Personally, I did not select estate management. That was not the course I wanted to study. I was admitted to study building technology. Another part of the history was that building technology was supposed to start before estate management. And a decision was taken in 1989 to not continue with building technology. I learned it and started again. Is that correct? Yes. And so those of us that were building were given the choice to either go to quantity surveying or go to estate management. So many of them went to quantity surveying, but I did not hear the announcement when they said we should come and choose. So they are gone, people have made choices. So when I got to the department, when I got to the dean's office, because that was the only thing we had, they said we should make a choice. And they said, sorry, the entrance has closed. I said, so what will happen? They said, we have put you in estate management. So I did not select estate management selected me. That's why I just started estate management. And so that was what it was in the beginning, 1989. By 1990, we had our first lecturer. I don't know how many of us remember Mrs. Oni. Mrs. Oni was the first lecturer we had. Interesting, beautiful, and she was our mommy. At last, we had a lecturer. We were like orphans, only that we had a grandfather. Now we had a mommy. Interestingly, when we started the courses, I remember ESM 201, Introduction to Estate Management, was taught by a town planner. Mr. Akinolu, if you remember, it was in Urban Regional Planning. Did you know about the current governor of your state? ESM 203 was Introduction to Valuation. It was taught by Mr. Akiba Mijo, who was also a town planner. Mrs. Oli, the only surveyor we had, was one that taught us estate management 205, which was Introduction to Land Economics. We had to take a course, Introduction to Law, in QSB 206 in 1990. It was an architect that taught us Introduction to Law. So I'm saying that because some of you students at the moment will be complaining about things you don't like what you are saying. Bros, wait till this, we don't see pastor. I mean, it was everybody that taught us everything. But the point was that those guys were determined to make a difference. And they did the best they could do. By 1991, 1992, we had more lecturers show up. Mr. X.Y. came in from Badopoli. He taught us ESM 301 Introduction to Valuation. MB Ogule, that they said is now cheap. At that time it was MB. You know, one characteristic Ogunle is that he must wear suit and tie. I do not know what Chitanza has done to him that is wear agbada. Mr. Ogunle taught us introduction to, he taught us land law, ESM 303 and ESM 304. Mr. Akeredolu taught us ESM 305 and 306, principles of town and country planning. Then Mr. Money taught us rating and taxation, ESM 307 and 308. Mr. Money is there. That's a very interesting course because when I resumed as a lecturer, Mr. Money called me and said, so I took over that class from him. And so by 1993, we had many lecturers who came to support us from IFE. I remember Dr. Ikwo. I don't know how many of us remember Dr. Ikwo. It was a building. It was one that taught us building services. I remember we had lectures like Mr. Vinci Aloko, who is now professor. And that's when my man, Professor A.S. Ashadu showed up. You see, Professor Shaju is a very different kind of lecturer. The only thing you remember at the beginning of the course is the title of the course. What will happen to you in the course you will never know. I remember Dr. Shaju taught us ESM 503 and 504, land use and resources development. He showed up in class. I know the way he talks with his Injesha Iketi language. Hey, you these people, I'm just coming for NISG conference. The team is tourism. This is the material I brought for you. It was like 150 pages. So we said, sir, where is the area of concentration? He said, no, it's just one topic. The other topics are coming later. So that was why I put the 400 level. And then by the time we got to 1995, we had to take professional practice. Mr. Adisa taught us professional practice. And I remember it's one of the very interesting courses. One of the things that was also very interesting was the way, now, between 1992 and 1994, Mr. Omoni had become the vice chairman of ASU or something like that. Now, ASU was involved in a lot of agitations then. But you know, one of the things that they did for us, which was very different, was that they had exposed us to that. So when ASU was arguing that they did not want to be paying rent, you remember that argument? Yeah. Mr. Adisa and Mr. Omoni asked us to do the valuation of all the houses in the staff quarters as part 4 and part 5 students. We did it. We did not like it because it was punishment. But that was our first experience with valuation. And for me, that was the last time I ever did evaluation in the government property. Thank you very much, sir. So ask you, wherever they are paying you, send my own to me. I did evaluation. 1996, we produced the first set of graduates of estate management. 5 of us graduated, a lady and 4 guys. 1 was a non-Nigerian, 4 of us were Nigerians. I hope you guys are still attracting international students because in 1990 we got our first international students. If we had an international in 1990, you guys should have an international association of estate management actually. I think somebody, sorry, I think you should give the head of department a target. You must increase our percentage of potential by 10% in the next 5 years. How many people agree with me? Those in support, say hi. Yes, have it. Because I mean, and that's very, very important because when we talk about having money for university, I remember then we didn't pay tuition fees because we were Nigerians. Kamga Henry, who came from abroad to study here, was paying $1,000 every term. That was money to the school, right? So if we don't attract the local. So by 1995, my set graduated, which was the first set. Gratefully, I graduated. I graduated with the first class. I did not graduate with first class. I graduated with first class in estate management. It's important to make that distinction because I would never have had first class if I studied quantity surveying. 1, I did not care about the quantities and I did not want to survey it. But you remember, I did not choose estate management. Estate management chose me. So it was in the interest of estate management to give me a first class. It was a deal. You saw me 5 years, attracted me. I got the first class. On the day of graduation, gratefully I got 5 awards. And It was fun. You know what it is to be graduates and they are calling as they are going to sit down and call you as people said I'm brilliant. Honestly, I'm not brilliant. It's only that estate management chose me. And I followed the children. 1996, I became the staff of the department, first alumni to become the staff. I resigned after some time. Some of you will say, why did I resign? I resigned after the election because I realized that the president, if the person that won become the president, will go on strike every year. And we went on strike every year. It was normal to go on strike. So when you are praying for the new year, I said, God, help me, pass me through the academic and the strike. And I just realized this is not that I want to live my life. I just chicken out and I left. It's not as if I left. It's only that I took a bus out of the gate. I carried my load. And the bus has not come back. It's not as if I don't want to come back. If the bus wants to come back, I will come back. So, I mean, if the bus never has stopped driving and the bus still can't find. So that's the situation. So that's how it was a couple of years back. And so for many of us, I decided to go through that issue for us to realize these people made these things happen. I mean, they weathered the storm, and today we are where we are today. So let me talk a bit. If you go to the next slide, when we resumed here, you know, many people in environmental understood who was an architect, right? The other side was a quantity surveyor. People did not know what was estate management. So my nickname in part one is Architect Father Reyes. Architect Father Reyes was made a prop of the day. Please let's clap for Architect Father Reyes. We were in the same set. There is nothing you people are doing that we did not do, including trekking from Obala to Obakekere. We also skip meals. You know, some people complain that things are tough. I told somebody that been tough. Tough does not have senior brother. It is just tough. Some people say they had 010. I said you even have 010. Some of us, all the pawpaw trees between Obala and Obakekere, it was God that planted it. And since we are the children of God. So when we resumed, people did not know what was it to be called an estate surveyor. So my nickname was caretaker. Yeah. And they said, all of them said when they build houses, I'll be the one to take care of it and be collecting rent. Interesting name to call it because that's the way many people saw us. So what was estate management like in the past? Go to the next slide. It was very manual. Many of the things we did were using basic tools, if you remember very well. So if you are doing valuation, for example, remember that thick book called valuation tables. How many people remember valuation tables? You know, there was one exam. Mrs. Professor Bello and Mrs. Oladapo remember this exam. It was ESM 601 Advanced Valuation. That exam, we wrote it in 6 hours. 6 hours. The exam had only one textbook. The person that wrote the textbook is the lecturer. 6 hours. I remember it was a Saturday. Now, but it was very manual because you had to start to reference books. That was what it was before. So one of the things I did was that I actually crammed YP for 10% in a bid to be fast. So when I left Twitter, I went to teach in Unilag. And so one day I was in class and I was saying, so guys, we're going to do YP. YP of 1 year is 1, YP of 2 years is 9.09, 9.3, YP of 3 years is 8.731, YP of 4 years is 7.61. So now they did exactly what you were doing. They started clapping. So I was wondering, I'm not finished. They said, how did I memorize it? I said, well, because that's what we were taught. I mean, there were those that didn't memorize it, so we'll be flipping through. If you flip through, you are flipping time. So it was manual, it was narrow, everything was narrow. For you to succeed as an estate surveyor, you had to rely on networks. Most of the people that did well in estate management were people that their parents were rich or have connections, little use of technology. There was a lot of contest and being looked down from other professions. Of course, we still had a lot of emphasis on the agency. If you go to the next slide, so what's changed? The definition has changed. Estate management is not what it is now. For many of us, they have told us estate management is the study of anything. Estate management is the study of anything that is an estate that can be managed. If you give me this camera, it's estate. I'll manage it. If you give me your children, I'll manage it. So, we have some of our, I'm saying this because some of the students are asking, so when I leave this place, what am I going to do?
I don't want to practice estate management. Estate management is the only practice that is everywhere. You can do anything. If you try to go to become a fashion designer, those clothes are estates. If you start selling cars, those cars are estates. If you start doing makeup, those things are estates. Honestly, if you start selling coffee, those coffees are estates. It's just estates. So we can't afford to keep defining estate management the way we define it. The world has changed. We need to use a lot of technology in what we want to do. We need to start thinking about having multi-different practice. And we need to start thinking about having those networks. So if you go to my point side, I just want to show you a couple of pictures for you to see some of the difference. How many of you remember, for those that practiced in the 70s or 80s or 90s, when you wanted to advertise a house for sale, you go and put a board there? How many of you remember? I remember when we went to do IT, 1992, 1993. One of the things that make you a good IT student is how many boards you can hide on your head on top of Okada. Yeah, you will hang it there. But the most sold real estate websites in Nigeria today is not owned by an estate surveyor. The top 10 estate management selling sites in Nigeria does not have a surveyor as the owner. That's where we are in Nigeria today. So when you put your board on the property in Alagbaka, I need to come to Alagbaka to see your board. Is that correct? But if I put it on the website, somebody somewhere else can do that. That's what these guys are doing. There's a site that's Monster.ng. Monster.ng manages thousands of properties in Nigeria today. That's the only estate management agency that has zero default rate in terms of payment of rents. There's no surveyor in that thing. But these guys have used technology and algorithms to select tenants and to manage property. So the world has changed. The one I have there, Molag Agency. How did I get to know these guys? We're trying to help somebody acquire property outside Nigeria. These guys do valuation for free. You know, many of us say somebody cannot do valuation because it does not have stamp and seal. That website, you just put the address of the property and it tells you the estimated value. Yeah, the world has changed. And we need to be very real with that as we go on. So, if we go to the next slide. So, I asked the question. So, you know the topic is estate management, past, present, and future. So, what will the future of estate management look like? Between me and you, we don't know. We don't know what the future is going to look like. And it's because of the fact that things are changing significantly. Technology is influencing everything in the world. From my house today, I can teach a class anywhere. Last year, before I decided to change my mind, I was teaching 3 universities in this country. I do not go to class all the time. Sometimes I'm in one university and I'm teaching and some people are watching on video in another university. The world has changed. And we can't say we will know what it will look like in the next couple of years. People of God, are you all here? When I was in this school, 1989, there was no word called email. It doesn't exist. There was no word called selfie. When you want to take picture, you go and meet the cameraman for your picture. He will now tell you how many exposure because he needs to roll 36 roll. If you are unlucky, you are number 1. You wait for 35 other people to snap. How many people know what I'm talking about? Good. That was the world. How do we really know the world will be like this now? We couldn't have imagined this. Is that correct? Let me tell you, 1996, I became a lecturer here. There was no email in the whole of Akure. No email. So I used to travel to Ibadan to go and check emails. There is a company called Scanex. It's in Ibadan. It's in Bodija. We would travel to Ibadan and go and check our emails. Then you will get to Ibadan to check your emails and there's no email. Yes. So, let me tell you one very funny thing about it then. Then we used to pay to open email addresses. Right? It was 1,000 naira for an email address to be created for you. So a couple of years after, email got to Ife. So we didn't go to Ibadan, we started going to Ife. Then finally, email came to Akure, to the glory of God and shame of the devil. I am sure everybody in this room has email now. So what I'm trying to say is that at that point, if they told us to predict what this world is today, we wouldn't have been able to predict it. Right? Bola Adeyemo, very good friend of mine, she was also a student here. I've not seen her in years. We only talk on Instagram, on whatever, all those WhatsApp and all of that. And we talk so when I see her sometimes, you think we saw like last week, but we have not seen in years. But with Telegram and WhatsApp, you can be in contact with anybody at any particular point in time. So we must think about the fact that we don't know what the future is going to look like. But what we can do, and that's what I think we should do, is what do we need to prepare for that future? So if we go to the next slide, because there's certain things that are not changing the world. Let the world change 1 million times over. The things that make for people to thrive going forward are basically a couple of things that I want to emphasize. And that's my request to the students. So I'm essentially talking to the students now. So if some of the older people start find this part boring, I understand. I'm talking to the students now. I think there should be 6 things you should aspire to leave FUTA with. 6 things. I'm going to go to them one by one and then I'll close. The first thing, go to the next slide, is I think all of us here should aspire to take on leadership role while we're students. You remember that when you are in the first set in the department, you will automatically become the departmental president. There was no election. I was a class rep. So it was combined honors, class rep and departmental president. That's how I got involved with printing. Because they told us to go and do letterhead. I had never done anything like that before. I remember I went to Ibadan to go and print it. And they said, so I didn't even know what to tell the printer. So I told him, I said, you want to print letterhead? He said, what's the name? I told him, what's the address? I told him the address. He said, what's your logo? I said, logo. We don't have. He said, no. A letterhead must have a logo. I said, we don't have logo. He said, okay, so what do you, okay, he said, so do you have the logo of your professional body? I said, yes. So I brought a letter out. I think the state branch wrote us a letter and showed him. So he said, yeah, but you can't use this logo now. That's the logo of your profession, national. What's your logo of Estate Management FUTA Student Association? So I said, okay, can you help me look for somebody that is very good with computer? He said, yes. So you know the logo of NISB, the eagle is inside the circle. So I told Madam, let me remove the eagle and put on top of the circle. That's how we call it EMSA logo. It's exactly, we have changed it now. It's exactly the same with NISB. It's only that their eagle is eating, our eagle, and you know eagle should fly. It's not fair for you to keep eagle in a circle. Now, so that's one of the things you get when you become a leader. So offer to become class rep, offer to become EMSA rep, offer to become set rep, go to spend unionism. All of you here, you say, I told you I graduated with the first class. I think I started studying unionism from part 1. I remember that most of the guys who I did studying unionism with, I'm sure Professor K remembers, most of them were rusticated at the point. People went to say that union guys were to cultism and all of that. And I remember I went to meet the dean of students. I said, you know that even if you write my name as a cult, the cult people will say I'm not one of them. So I think one of the things all of us should aspire to go is to look for leadership opportunities while we're in this school. Go into politics. If you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, become a leader there, because leadership develops your capacity to do anything. Leaders make the world go round. So when we talk about the future we don't know, that future we need a leader. Is that correct? Yeah. Whatever happens, there will always be leader. But it's the people that have developed themselves that become leaders. So the first thing I want to request is all of us should ought to be leaders. So the next thing I think we should all do to prepare for that future is all of us should become people that have ethics and values. All of us. The young and the old. It's painful when you see what people do today. I was so happy, you know, when what I'm saying, okay, you are recording what I'm saying now, just pretend as if you are not recording it, because I know you are recording it. You know, when they started talking about sex for marks, I'm actually working with a group of people who are doing the research on that. I was sad it happened, but I was also happy we didn't hear stories from here. Now, I'm not saying the lecturers are saints, but I'm saying that we didn't hear the story. I mean, there are two different things, right? So, ethics is what makes inspire at the end of the day. I will never forget one thing that happened in my final year. You know, I told you that we had an intelligence amidst us. You know, so before I got to FUTA, I had one of the shows I made very before I got to university was I decided to become an SU. You know the meaning of SU? You don't know the meaning? You know. So I got to become SU, not born again. You know, SU is the senior brother of born again. Because I felt that was the only thing in this world that can help me to survive. So what that means as SU is that when you are writing an exam, you will go to the front and don't copy or let people copy you. You know, if you are not SU, you can stay with the others, and then you led into temptation. Particularly if you are doing courses like IMC 101, those courses at all. It's not that you wanted to cheat. It was that the thing, you remember it, but you just suddenly forgot. And the person beside you suddenly, and you did not spy, you were just looking, and you saw the answer. But you know, if you are SU, you actually go and sit in front, right? So that was my policy. So I told all my mates, I said, guys, I'll teach you anything in this world before we get the exam over. I will never allow you to copy me, and I will not allow you to copy. So because I started from there was people that started by Mr. Money, these are the things that happen when you are at home by the classroom. And some people actually form partnerships to be copying themselves. So the last exam we're going to do here, I remember we were reading in the lecture theater. One of the guys stood up and said, the most unfair thing about this system is that when they will give us certificates, they will be writing some people's names. They should not get certificates. I said, why? He said, you see, he called the boss and he said, you see this one. They should write his name, stroke. I said, why? He said, have you not been copying since part 2? That one said, it's not as if I copy him, he also copies it. So that's why they will stroke your own, they will stroke his own. They should just write your name together. So it was a very interesting conversation. So the guy said, the only person here that they should write his name alone is Yomi. Because he doesn't copy and he doesn't allow people to copy him. But they should give him a certificate for being very, very wicked. Because he did not allow us to copy him. When he said it, we were all laughing, but the guy was making a lot of sense. Right? If you decide to do the right things, people can ignore you and say you're a foolish person, but they know what you're doing. So choose to be a person of ethics and values. Live the right ways. If you go to the next slide, I think we should all be committed learners. Learning, and learning. They said the literacy of the 21st century is somebody that can learn, unlearn, and learn. There are certain things I learned that I have to relearn. Is that correct? You can't say I studied estate management. They said you go and do this job. What I currently do now is not estate management of building. It's human being that I estate that I manage now. So I have to go and learn. So don't romance estate management. It's not a romantic business. Right? You'll be willing to learn. Some of you, the only books you read as students are books of estate management. I'm not sure you are doing yourself well. And I believe that Professor Shajo has not changed. Because if you see your lecturer, you will read anything. I remember 1980 something, I can't remember when it was 1990 something. President Ibrahim Babangida, the head of state, decided to launch Federal Urban Mass Transit Scheme. How many people remember that scheme? The next class, Land and Resource Development. Prof came and said, did you hear the announcement? Said, we sir. The federal government has launched Federal Urban Mass Transit Scheme. You know it has implication for land resources. Say yes, the buses will go on land, they will need garage, they will need that. So I want you to go and look for the strategy paper, the policy documents, and the implementation plan for Federal Urban Mass Transit Scheme. I said, sir, they just announced last week. He said, yes, you will be looking for Makura, I will be looking at Ife. When we were going to write exam, Federal Urban Mass Transit. Well, you know, what it did for us was that we tried to take government announcement very seriously. Because with Dr. Achaju, anything is land. Right? So, but it takes you to be willing to learn all the time and all of that. So if we go to the next slide, let's go to the next slide. Relationship matters. When you are able here, because you have great relationships, you need it for the future. The future will never be great without relationship. How many people agree with that? Yeah. And the relationship you form now will make a lot of difference at the end of the day. Today I work in an oil company. I tell you a little bit why I go to the oil company. It was one of our students here. She was in final year. She had a problem and I decided to help her. And pay something that was not necessarily academic, but I just said to offer help. And I didn't say after that time. Then she just called me from home and said, sir, there's a position that I think you should be qualified for. I said, you know, I don't want to work. I'm a lecturer. I said, no. He said, you know, sir, you know you help me. I want to also help you. I said, are we going to be sharing salary together? I don't know. He said, just apply on my behalf. So I applied, just to make her happy. Applied, went for test, went for interview. They gave me letter of appointment. I have not decided that I will go. Then ASUU went on strike. Then the federal government now said they should not pay our salary. The strike started in November, so they didn't pay us November, December. The company that gave me a job told me to resume in February. So, you know, if you did not earn, how much you are earning? If you don't earn in November, December, you know that Christmas, there is only Christmas, is not here. So my house was stopped that year. So they told us to resume February in that company, and I just want to resume so that I can get money because I didn't have money. I had a family to feed. Government said they should not pay our salary. So I went to that company to collect salary for first month. And that when ASUU calls off the strike, I will resume. Till date, ASUU have not called off that strike. When they call off the strike, I will resume. But it's important that it was a relationship that led to that many people I go with me. I told you I was working here. Then somebody also told me once, said, Yomi, you did your first degree in FUTA. I said, yes. Did your master's in FUTA? I said, you're working in FUTA. Everything about your life is just FUTA. If you are really brilliant, they say you have first class. Go to another school and prove that you are brilliant. I said, what kind of nonsense is that? He said, it's not nonsense. Your first class is only FUTA. F for FUTA, F for first class. Go to another school that F does not start their name and prove that you are brilliant. So I wrote an application to Alumni. I did that one does not have F. Now, the head of the Department of Estate Management then was Dr. Mrs. Omeri. When I was doing my final year, part 5, she was our external examiner. And so she, you know, an external examiner, you know, you're supposed to respect yourselves and be wise talking to her. So, but you know, I have a very funny attitude because I believe relationship matters. If you want to be formal with me, you're wasting your time. I will make it informal. Say, how are you? How are you too, ma? Your project is nice. Thank you, ma. Have you eaten? So we became friends. We broke the ice and we became friends. So when I finished service here and I resumed in FUTA, I went to Unilab to say, ma, I've resumed though, I'm now a lecturer. I said, hey, that's good. So when I applied to Unilab, and my friend is the HOD, all things being equal. Wow. Don't forget, the first class was one side. She also had a first class. So I said, ma, you cannot look at me human being to human being. Look at me first category to first class category. Tell me why I should not get this job. I resumed without interview. Wow. That's how I got the relationships matter. She got me the job. I was so happy I went to Unilab. I was a lecturer here for 5 or 6 years. I only got one promotion. FUTA didn't try. Unilab had a vice chancellor then that said, once you are fit to be promoted, present your paper every year. I spent 3 years in Unilab, I got 3 promotions. Wow. Those here, it is the relationship we built that took me there. Somebody will say, so if I get to why did you leave? It was another ASUU. So me and ASUU, we have never been friends. Anyway, they made me do things I did not have actually done. So the more they strike, and as you know, the first strike is not even over. So they can strike as much as they want. So go to the next slide. Excellence, very, very important. Please, I want to beg you. If you are a student here and you are going to graduate with third class, have extra here and have tutu. If you are going to graduate with pass, have 2 extras here and have tutu. Those are, you know that when you are young, if your movie gives you tribal mark, there's nothing you can do about it. It's permanent. Is that correct? You know, third class and pass is one certificate that will not make you be able to tell people you are graduates. I want to graduate, Penny. How was your results? It's not as if, or Nigerians, they will start by saying, actually. When a Nigerian starts a sentence with actually, anything can happen after that actually. So, if you're going to graduate with a third class of, let me have your attention guys, third class of pass, guys, 1 extra year. Do you know who taught me that? Professor Adeyemi taught me that. Part 2. I went to meet him, I said, we're taking too many courses. He said, you know, Professor Adeyemi has a very gentle way of talking. Yeah. You know, if Professor Adeyemi wants, if he could kill you, he will say, I'll kill you. And you will not even know. So he said, Yomi, why are you disturbed? I said, sir, this thing is, he said, you know, he said in the university, you people will say you are mates. They are not mates in the university. He said, stop saying you are in year 2. You are in part 2. I said, sir, what's the difference? He said, when you are counting the year, you say you must graduate at any time. He said, so if the courses are too much, drop 2. And take only a few courses in part 2. Next year, you'll be in part 3. I said, so do you mean I will not graduate in 5 years? I said, that's what I'm saying. He said, well, it's not extra year. It was you that decided to manage your years. And honestly, that thing was a very wise counsel. Because actually, some of you will not be able to cope with those courses. Particularly estate management, where we borrow courses from everywhere. I was annoyed in part 2. Wait, now, you people are complaining. Your case is even good. Some of the courses have been brought inside the department as well. In part 2, part 3, I got confused. I just saw course outline, courses for next semester, farm management and extension. I said, It was only the farm management, estate management. I never forget that course. Because I was totally decisional. Why is farm management? But we got there and we had a good result. So excellence is something you must do. Let me tell you something personally. When I got to the university, I didn't have a plan to have a first class. My plan to come to this school was just to play drum with the university. I was a fair person, 2-2 at drum, they take 2, I 2, and then we do 2-2. That was my goal. And so when you want to do 2, you behave like 2-2, right? So part 1, 2-2, part 2, 2-2, part 3, 2-2. Then at 4, first semester part 4. Very impressive courses. Then we used maximum units of 4 units. And I had a 4 dogs. In first semester past 4. That's the time I said, wait to go. So I can get a first class. People say, no, it's late. It's late. Oh, that's bad. It's quite bad. The people counseling me, they were not in first class. So I said, we died here. We died here. I'm a pussy bed. So second semester, my GP was 3.85. It's looking like it because first class starts from 3.5. I said, what do I need to do to get to first class? First semester part 5. First course was principles, advanced valuation taught by Mr. Iswa and Mr. That means me and him, we are very good friends. You know, we are both kind of people. When he's teaching, I understand him as he's talking. So his own course, guarantee. We have connection, Wi-Fi, but on Wi-Fi. We won't all the time. Yes, 503, Land Use and Resources Development, Professor Shaju. Professor Shaju's course, the only solution to pass his course is to read wide. And I will read wide. Wi-Fi was working. 505 was Principles of Town, Advanced Principles of Town and Culture. It was Mr. Olare Wadi, who was coming to teach, Mr. Oladare, who was coming, who was going to teach us. Very brilliant man. I told him, I said, here, sir, this course is not supposed to be difficult because it's down and country planning. So, first semester, I had a GP of 3.89 or something. And eventually, I graduated with the first class. I didn't get a first class until I got my last semester of part 5. So some of you want to have first class, but because somebody failed you, listen, I failed you, I failed in this school. You know, when people come to talk about having first class, they only be saying they are passing. I'm a very good student. I've gotten all the grades A, B, C, D, E, F. I have all. And I'm serious. You are not a good student if you have not tasted it. You don't believe that? You know, wait. I need to start adding on that. My time is fast spent. You remember? I told you I'm an SU. So I get a lot of lessons about life from reading the Bible. Pardon those of you that know the Bible. You know, one of the things the Bible says that one of the reasons why Jesus is able to sympathize with us was because he suffered, right? So you are not a good student, you have not suffered. Part of the suffering is a fail. They fail you and they're like, a million. But that failure should not make you. You know, some people say, hey, they have failed me. No, they didn't fail you. You failed. Accept that. Because in Nigeria, if you have a first class, they'll say, I have a first class. If they had a third class, they say, they gave me. So, let's go to the next slide. I think the other thing I want to emphasize as I start to think about closing is, I think we need to have the right mindsets for what we have to do. One of those mindsets is, what can I do differently when I leave here as a student? Very important. Some people have a mindset of nothing goes for nothing. You don't get anything except to invest your body or whatever. I think the question you need to ask yourself is, think about your mindset. Does your mindset take you to where you want to go to? It's important to have the right mindsets. I have one of my most saddest occasions coming to Accra after I graduated. When I was staying in Royal Bed Hotel, and I saw a call girl at the gate. You know, Royal Bed is one that's in Jaco, right? Yeah. It's on two sides of the road. So I left my room, I was going, this lady followed me. When I was coming back, this lady followed me. So I thought she was looking for something or someone. So I said, yes, I saw you followed me. He said, yes. I said, so anything you want me to do for you? She said, well, she said, so then I said, she's a fellowship member. I said, okay. So I said, and you know, as SU concerned, when you see fellowship members, you start preaching. So I said something to her, this one, what do you want? The lady now said, sir, I need money. I need to buy my project tomorrow, and I don't have money to buy my project. I said, so what do you want? Which project are you buying? He said, I'm a student of future. I'm supposed to submit my project tomorrow, and I don't have money to submit project. I said, so you don't have money to submit your project, and you decide to come to a hotel to prostitute your body. And I said, I'm also a student of future. Is that same future that gave me the certificate that gives me the right to stay in the hotel? Is that same future you are in, and you have used your mindset to say you need to sleep with me to get my money? I said that you don't know where you are. You don't really value where you are. That same future made me what I am, and that same future is where you are, and you want to prostitute your body. It's not our fault, it's our mindset. Is that correct? So we need to think about our mindset. What are the kind of mindsets we have as we think about the future? Next slide. I need to start to prepare to write that down. I think one of the things we need to start to think again is that what can we do differently as we go? We've done 30 years. I think estate management department needs to start to have a conversation with future. And my proposal is that we need to have an estate management system in the school. The teaching and the practice of estate management should be the same in the system. These all full-time properties are estate. So there should be DVC estate. Let me say this with all sense of responsibilities. If there was an estate manager that manages the assets of this university, I can bet you in the next 5 years, this university land will feed the whole of Ondo State. Yes. I can bet you that. I can bet you. One of the biggest problems of our universities is that we manage them as universities, we don't manage them as real estate. Except, yes, you agree with me. You see, real estate is value. When I was coming in today, I saw where the fence of Peter started from. Do you know, if you look at that fence, for the next 600 meters is fallow ground. That's prime real estate facing an expressway. Only a university will not develop it. You have a petrol station there. Is that correct? Is that correct? Is that doing petrol station doing well? No. No. Why will you not do well? ESM 30205, Principles of Land Economics, we teach you about what they call passing trade. Is that correct? Yeah. What does passing trade mean? It means that if you want to locate a business, you must ensure it aligns with the passing trade. In Nigeria, people don't fill their tank when they are entering the town. They fill the tank when they are leaving the town. So because an estate surveyor was one that did it, that's why he put it on this side. It should be on the other side. That's why the most sold filling station in Nigeria is on the run after Ojota in Lagos. You remember on the run to your right? Yes. Every bus leaving is on the right. If you leave Benin and you are going towards Warri, Port Harcourt, all the petrol stations that say well, they are on the right. ESM 205. So even if you don't want to have GBC estate, you can actually ask the students to be managing here. You have staff school, you have this library, when ASU goes on strike, the library is short. The asset is keeping. This is a hall. Give a surveyor this hall. I will guarantee you millions every month without working. It is high. All the people that are getting married who did not have first class, you let them do their reception here to elevate their status. I'm not saying what I think. That is the system they use in the University of Cambridge. It's a system. So when a student says I want to go on IT, he actually does his IT in the school. Because it's ridiculous for a department of estate management to send people outside of an estate department in an estate university to go and look for a job in another estate firm. It is contradictory. So I know what I said is political. It's not. The last university I said it, I told them, you know what? I went to do a job for Unilag, and that was what I was talking about. Guys, let's manage this school as a real estate and not as a university. Let the academics manage the academics. Yes. Let the administration manage, but let us manage this place as real estate. And I told them something very simple. Do you know that in Harvard, so the vice president talked about Harvard. You know that in Harvard, if you want to do this so well, and you want to put the logo of Harvard in it, you will pay. You will pay. And it's not for negotiation. But it's because they value that piece of real estate. So my thought is, guys, we need to think about this place as a step. So you go to the next slide as I round up. Just a couple of slides, I'm done. But guys, I must also tell you that I've always had times when I derailed, or I almost derailed. Because it will not be nice for me to talk about the future and nobody talks about failures. Failures happen. Let me tell you the first one. It was in my 200 level. Remember I told you when I got admission to this school, I did not have a plan to have a first class. I just wanted to have 2 and 4. So when I got into part 2, two sets that graded 4, 2 of them came to school the same day. One of them had a first class, the other had a 2-2. The guy that had a first class trekked into Futa. The guy that had a 2-2 came with a car. I have 5 minutes more. I was taught a course called negotiation. Madam, I will negotiate that 5 minutes. My journey is far. I came from Lagos. Don't give me 5 minutes. So, but I'll respect your time. So, so the guys came, and you know, there in Futa, there was only one hostel. Obakikere. The whole of Obakideko. That was male and female hostel. The old school. So when the 2 of them arrived, we saw them. So the guy with the first class walked in, the guy with the 2-2. So we all gathered outside and stayed down. But only 2-2 alone motor jam. Who did you on the first class journey? And we all left that place with a conclusion that all of us are the corporate entity. We gathered with the 2-2. And you know, for you, this was not theory. You were seeing it, right? You were seeing it, and it's the reason why nobody should order himself. Thank God my mind changed after. Let me tell you the second time I got derailed about not caring about academics and did not prepare for the future was a recognition of a footballer. In my class I was the best student, but there was a very good footballer in my class. This was my final year part 5. As at that time, my GP in School of Environmental was the highest. As at that time, I'd been on this list for 6 times. You know this list? Every time I was on this list, I was just given a letter. So this guy who was in my class plays football very well. So I remember I was coming to class, and he was coming from staff quarters. Final year, part 5, first semester. So he had a bag. It was a parcel, big envelope, well packaged. So I said, guy, where are you coming from? He said he's coming from the VC's lodge. I said, what did you go to do there? He said, you know, we just won the Ondo State football competition, and the VC decided to do a dinner for us. My heart broke. As at that time, and without disrespect to this guy was at the bottom of our class. He goes to play football for 2 weeks. and the VC invites him to his house for dinner, and the university gave him a gift. Me, I don't enter this place, that's my permanent residence. The VC did not even give me matchstick. Honestly, I turned back and I went to sleep. I couldn't read. I was so devastated at a system that does not appreciate academic excellence, but appreciates a footballer. I was more devastated because it happened in a university. And I did not blame the vice chancellor then, but it's a systemic issue. That day, I couldn't read for many days because I could not imagine it. So, one very sad thing that happened to me here. The third one was graduation. I told you I won 5 prizes on my graduation. 5 prizes. The highest amount was 1,000. The lowest amount was 100 naira. The 5, please say, you're already getting annoyed for me. I'm not even hearing the story. 5 prizes. The total sum of that prize was 4,100. 5 prizes. So I came to the school to collect my prize, and they told me that the prizes were the money was too small, that you can't buy anything tangible. So they will give me the cash. All the prizes was goods worth 1,000, goods worth 500, goods worth 100. So I still remember, I said, sir, you are giving me a prize that should be goods, and the money cannot buy a good, and you are giving me the money. I said, honestly, I won't collect this money because I feel it's an abuse. I said, sir, you know what it means to collect 5 prizes on graduation day and you are giving me the cash? That day, my heart sank again. This was what happened to me. Then the 4th one was when I collected my salary as a lecturer. I resumed here. My salary was 3,944. As you well know, I did not as if I offended God. I was born again. I had first class. My salary was 3,994. The money my father was giving me before I graduated was more than that. Once I started work, he decided to cut the subsidy. So the money, I could not go to the bank to collect the money. I had to wait for the 2nd month so that the money will enter 7,000. I just feel happy. I was like, is this the life these people were living? And they were asking me to join them, and they didn't tell me. Very, very low moment for me. The last one was what I call the coins episode. I will never forget that in my life. Weber Bank used to be at the gate. That was where all of us collected salary. That particular month, our salary was how much? The bank manager said, I'm sorry, we can't pay you salary, we are going to pay you in coins. I said, what did you say, sir? I said, I'm going to pay your salary in coins. I collected my salary for a month in coins. I carried the coins. It was 2 bags. I'm serious, I'm dead serious. And I told myself, this system that can pay lecturer coins is not a system one should stay with for long. That was one of the days I made up my mind I'm getting out of here. Coins? I did not offend God. Neither did I offend the university. I'm saying those things for you to realize that in your quest for the future, there are things that will disappoint you. Man, don't get disappointed, just move on. Your life is greater than your disappointment. If you go to the next slide, this is going to be about Dr. Ashagi. I told you Dr. Ashagi taught me 2 courses, ESM 503 and 504. The name of the course was Land Use and Resources Development, and I told you he taught us everything. They did the real conference in 1993, if you remember, in Brazil. Dr. Ashagi, I think, prepared a paper to be presented there. I can't remember what happened. So he came and said, do you people know Rio? I said, Rio? No. He said, there's a World Art Conference going on in Rio. This one I was supposed to go, something happened. So, you know that time there was no internet. He said, so this is the paper I was supposed to present or something, go and read it. Next class. He said, so let's talk about sustainable development. We're like, what is sustainable development? He said, okay, that's one of the words that was coined from that conference. Sir, they coined the word last week. The word has not even reached Nigeria. We're already reading it. He said, go and read about sustainable, and then we started reading about sustainable development. Well, we did his exam and we passed. And then I became interested in sustainable development, environmental conservation, and all of that. And I never used that knowledge for the next couple of years. 2002, that's like 8 years or 7 years after he taught us. Another company came up with an advert. They said they wanted a surveyor who had knowledge of sustainable development. So, the only people that will qualify to apply are the people that Dr. Ashaju taught. Wow. So I applied and I got the job. I'm saying that for you to realize that some of you here are students who say you don't want to do estate management. You see, you don't need to use all the courses in estate management. Only one can make a difference for you. In my own case, it was only 503 and 504. That made a difference for me. Some of you may just be land use and resources, but some of you may be principles of valuation, some of you may be land economics. But even if you are going to go into fashion, it could be useful for you at the end of the day. Dr. Shaki, thank you very much for giving me the launch sequence. At the end, the future starts now. Because when we talk about the future of estate management, I'm trying to use this approach to present it because at the end of the day, it's about how you prepare for that future. And as students, guys, 30 years ago, this was the future we were talking about. Is that correct? 30 years from now, these things I talked about were the things that make a difference for anybody that's making a difference today. And 30 years from now, it will always make a difference. So my request is, what are you going to do very differently as somebody who is a student or who is a staff for the next 30 years? You know, one of the things that will shock us, for example, is in the next 30 years, we'll be surprised that the study of estate management will have so much changed that there may not be a department of estate management. Some people will not agree with it, but I was in this school when there was a department called crop production, CRP, and there was a group in that group called plants, people who deal with pesticides and all of that, right? There was a group of professors that were there, and after that Rio conference, the world condemned the use of pesticides, and these professors were almost going to lose their job. I remember one of them was a very good friend of mine, just because of the fact that the world has changed that. So for example, if I'm the lecturer for valuation, for example, and I still teach valuation the way they taught Mango Bank valuation, when that world changes, you will not be there, okay, still you're still using that knowledge at the end of the day. So my request for all of us is, in preparing for this future of estate management, we need to put these things at the back of our minds and see what we need to do to make a difference at the end of the day. My prayer is that so we're doing 30 years, 40 years, we should all be here. 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. Some people cannot even say amen because they are afraid of what will be there. But you see, the point I'm making is that 30 years ago, we did not know that 30 years will come very soon. And today, 30 years has been 30 years. One of my friends, and that's the last thing I want to leave with the student, one of my friends that were in school together called me once and said, you know, Yomi, when you were in school and you were very, very focused on academics, we felt you are not doing the right thing. But I realized that where I currently work, I need to have the same focus I avoided when I was young. So if you're here, you say, oh, I'm a student, I want to just be an NFA, whatsoever. When you start working, you can't be an NFA. So why don't you start from now? Is that correct? Think about what you want to do. Do everything possible in this school. You know, they'll say a university, you pass through a university, and a university pass through you. Think about ways you can develop yourself at the end of the day. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I did not take it for granted. Thank you very much.
I think it deserves a standing ovation for that. Thank you very much. It's been a thoughtful lecture, and of course, those of us that are not even in the estate management, we are able to pick one or two things for our future. Thank you very much, sir. Let me hand over the microphone to the Vice Chancellor for a brief remarks before we move on.
I think this lecture deserves another round of applause from us. Thank you. It's quite interesting. Those who are not here, I think they have missed a lot. Am I correct? I think it's been a very wonderful one. Jeremy has taken us through the past. And it's like he made himself the centerpiece. It's quite interesting. And luckily, because he went through virtually everything, but what estate management was in the past. In fact, what the entire School of Environmental Technology was in the past. And it's like somebody that went to the mills, and here you can see it today. And that's a challenge to every one of us. He has put the program to everyone. In the next few years, we will not be like this. Whatever you are thinking, whatever you are planning, just expect that the best is yet to come. And on that note, I want to believe that for the Department of Estate Management, the best is yet to come. And whatever we are doing today, the people we are seeing around us, these young people and students, the next 10 years, we know they will go places. And the other people that are here too are believing God that with future, we're going to take future to very great heights. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the entire university community, I want to thank you, sir, for making it. And I want to thank every one of us. Because of time, we will have taken one or two questions, but we still have some things, a lot of things ahead of us here, and the time is not on our side. I want to thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Vice Chancellor. We are moving ahead, and we want to do the endowment to the department before we do the award. And what I have here is that we want to gather 30 million naira for this department today, and we will surely get there. Yes, we be calling the alumni from 1981 to 2013, and we discover that they are 15 in number, and we want to take 30 million. So I expect that when I call yourselves, you will just drop 2 million. So by the time we add everything together, it should be 30 million naira. So the price set that I want to give the microphone to is the 1989 cents. 1989 cents. 1989. Okay, 1989 cents. Okay, that's good.
On behalf of my sex members, so that you know say we are proud, the VC has given us permission to be proud. So what we're going to do is 30 million we're trying to get, so we'll raise 3 million in the next year.
They are not there. 1990. signify wherever you are seated. Kẹ́hìndé Adéyẹmí. Okay, 1991. 1991 cents. So, 1991. Okay, 1992 cents. 1992. The mic. 1992 cents. Okay. Sorry for the break in transmission. Okay. 1992 cents, please. Please, we have started with 3 million. Let's be going up. Yes.
Honestly, I'm not impacted by this, but I want to believe something in
500,000. Okay, within the next 1 year, 500,000. Let's put our hands together for 92 cents. 1993. Bola Adeyemo, sorry, 1993. Yes, please. 1993 cents.
I stand on the existing protocol, and I am looking at my colleague here, and we are putting heads together to say something which we can still change. Maybe we're not sure, so I am saying 1 million in 3 years.
Let's put our hands together for 93 cents. We are going to 30 million, and we have how much now? 4.5. We are moving up. 1995. 1995 cents. Okay, somebody is raising up his hand there. 1995 cents.
Thank you very much.
Quiet, please.
That is kind of enough for the future for the department. For I'm sure in that work, in that decision what we're going to do. Of course, at the moment we have contribution running into the hundreds of thousands. But we're going to go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Research is embarking on the project already, and they are going to get back to the department. 1996. 96. 1997 cents. I should get like 30 million from this set that is standing up. I can even feel the votes already, yes. We can see this value will definitely come out.
On behalf of my colleagues, we'll try and raise minimum of 500,000 naira.
500,000.
Minimum.
Yes. Thank you. is there, Mr. Pastor.
On behalf of my set, standing on the existing protocol, on behalf of my set, we try to relate an amount of 300,000.
300,000. A round of applause for 2001 cents. 2002 cents. 2002. 2003. 2003, 2004, okay, 2003 is there. Alumni. Somebody to speak on their behalf. PGDM Tech alumni. Nobody. Okay, somebody is coming. Good afternoon, my
my fellow students. My name is Folakemi Ajakare. I'm also alumna of set 2012 and 3 PGD set. But I'm here to present a gift from my boss, Dr. ESB Bolaride Basola Ajayi, with the sum of 50,000.
Thank you very much. We are moving to the top table here, and I would like to hand over the microphone to the representative of the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology in Ondo State.
Okay. I actually did not discuss this endowment fundraising with the commissioner before I came here. But I want to assure you one thing. I will bring him back. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. Am I correct? So I am sure he will be extremely passionate about this cause. And please, the chairman of organizing committee can get back to me in the office on Tuesday. I would have discussed with the Honorable Commissioner, and I can assure you that he will send something modest to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The FUTA Alumni Worldwide, the president is represented here. Okay, he's making a call so that I will know how much to donate. Okay, before it's true, the PGD alumni, the chairman, NIESB Ondo State. Please, can you hand over the microphone to him? He's there.
Well, thank you. The department is our baby, and we are ready to support. So on the first installment, we'll give 35,000 naira. By the time we get back, we will meet and do something better for the department. Thank you.
The alumni, once it's true with the national president, they will get across to us. Once again, we want to appreciate everyone that has donated to this 30 million naira endowment fund. Okay, Masters alumni and PhD alumni. Masters alumni and PhD alumni. Alumni and masters. Okay, thank you, but I want to tell you that the door is wide open. You can still donate to this endowment fund. I want to invite the HOD Estate Management for the next agenda. Next thing on the item, which is prizes and scholarship to students. We'll do that of the past leaders first, but first, let us do that of our past leaders in estate department, management department, before we go to that of the students. Okay, the alumni is ready.
Thank you.
Before I announce our donation, I would like to say a word or two. Our president is not here right now. He's on his way to Lagos. Tomorrow we are having a program in Lagos. The Lagos State Branch is having a section with our BC tomorrow. Our president is on his way. Aside that, we expect that we are supposed to give a talk, but we were pushed by the side. It's one of those things. Anywhere we go, we make a speech because we are the border. But it didn't. It's as if we are getting in the background. I just spoke with my president. He sent his greetings and he said, for the first installment, we donate 100,000 naira. Please don't behave like people in the School of Sciences. We promised them 100,000, they never came around to collect. Please try to collect. I'm speaking as National Financial Secretary, and I can assure you that we get it. God bless you.
The first person that I would like to invite is Professor Adeyemi. Is the Pioneer Dean of School of Environmental Technology, Federal University of Technology, Akure. Let me invite Mrs. Bola Adeyemi to read the citation.
Professor Ekundayo Adeyinka Adeyemi was born on Saturday, 27 February 1937 at the then Ilorin Native Authority Hospital. He grew up in the road quarters, the Afonta, in the present Kogi State. He started his primary education between 1942 and 1943, while the war raged at the United Missionary Society UMS School. By 1945, he was already in Standard 1. As a child, Professor Ekundayo Adeyinka Adeyemi did not lack in the possession of used tennis balls. With everyday practice on the balls, he became a good soccer player, adept at using the instep of his foot to kick hard and straight shots. Having concluded a part of his primary school education in Jeba by 1946, and upon his father's transfer to Ekutemeta Junction, Yaba, Lagos, he moved to Ofa, where he went Standard 3 at the St. Mark's School. In 1948, he moved to attend the African Bethel School on Lagos Street at Ekutemeta, Lagos. Professor Ekundayo Adeyinka Adeyemi later got admission into Christ School at Ekiti in 1952, where he attended his secondary school education. Professor Ekundayo Adeyinka Adeyemi had his university education first at the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, and later at Columbia University, New York, and the New York University, New York, 1971 to 1974, where he obtained higher degrees in architecture and urban planning. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Architects and of the Association of Architectural Educators in Nigeria. He is the first professor in West Africa. He has made significant contributions to architectural education and practice over a span of almost 50 years. He was the head of Department of Architecture, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, 1974 to 1986. The Dean of the Faculty of Environmental Design of the same university, 1976 to 1980. And later, the Pioneer Dean of the School of Environmental Design and Fine Arts, now School of Environmental Technology of the Federal University of Technology, Akure. He retired from the services of FUTA in January 2002, having been its Deputy Vice Chancellor 1988 to 1992 and Acting Vice Chancellor 1999 to 2002. Though retired, he lectured research methodology and history of modern architecture in Covenant University, Ota, Ogun State in Nigeria till 2016. He is presently on contract appointment at the Department of Architecture, University of Calabar, Cross River State. I could go on and on. Distinguished members of the high table, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a father to many, a man of many parts, Professor Ekundayo Adeyinka Adeyemi.
Let me invite the representative of the Vice Chancellor, the BBCA, to present their role.
Award of recognition presented to Professor Ekundayo Adeyinka Adeyemi for her contributions to the development of the School of Environmental Technology as the pioneer dean to the Department of Estate Management on this occasion of our 30th anniversary stroke 4th alumni reunion on the 25th October 2019. Congratulations, sir.
A round of applause. Congratulations, sir. The next awardee is ESVTPL Adisa SY. Can you please step forward, sir? And let me invite Mr. Taiwo Adeola to read his citation.
Citation. Profile of ESV CPL Shegun Yakubu Adisa. ESV Adisa was born on the 27th November 1952 in Ibadan to the family of Mr. and Mrs. Badamoshi Adisa. He had his primary and secondary school education in Ibadan and proceeded to the Polytechnic Ibadan, where he had his OND in civil engineering in 1976. He had his Bachelor of Science, Estate Management from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife in 1980. Mr. Adisa went on to bag MFC Urban and Regional Planning from the Premier University of Ibadan in 1987. And MSc Construction Management in University of Lagos, Akoka, Ayaba in year 2000. ESV CPL Adisa is an associate member of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, NIVE, and a registered estate surveyor and valuer. He is equally a registered town planner with stamp and seal and a member of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. His working experience started as a land officer 1 in the Ministry of Land and Housing, Ibadan, between 1981 and 1984.
He crossed to academics and was a lecturer too in the Polytechnic Ibadan between 1985 and 1989. CPL Adisa crossed to the Federal University of Technology Akure, where he was appointed as a lecturer to pioneer the newly established Department of Estate Management. He was indeed the coordinator between 1992 and October 1995. He transferred his service to the to the University of Lagos in 1995 as a lecturer 1 officer and was promoted to the rank of a senior lecturer in 1999. ESV Adisa retired in 2017 from the university and is now managing his estate firm as well as town planning firm. ESV/TPN Adisa is happily married and blessed with 5 children and 3 grandchildren. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present to you ESV/TPL Shegun Yakubu Adisa.
Let me invite the representative of the Honorable Commissioner for Education to do the presentation.
On behalf of the alumni of FUTA Department of Estate Management, sir, I present this award of recognition to you, and I say congratulations.
Congratulations, sir. Before I invite the next awardee, I quickly want to invite the 2004 sets. They want to make a presentation. The representative is here. 2004 sets. 2004 sets.
We are going to message from one of the members of 2004 sets, and he said they are said to be donating 100,000 naira.
A round of applause for 2004 sets. The next awardee is ESV Omoniyi MI. ESV Omoniyi MI. Let me invite Dr. Akibogo to read the citation.
Yes, I'm going to present the brief profile on ESV Michael Desame Omoniyi, one of the past HOD of this great department. He was born on 2nd of May 1954 to the family of Pa Clement and Mrs. Felicia Omoniyi in Ore Ekiti State. ESV Samuel Omoniyi attended St. Gregory Catholic Primary School in Ekiti between 1958 and 1964, from where he proceeded to St. Columcille Catholic Model School in Ekiti between 1964 and 1966. He attended St. Peter's Teachers College, Akure in 1969, between 1969 and 1971. He wrote the London GC Ordinary and Advanced levels in 1972 and 1974 respectively. He proceeded to the then University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, for his BSc in Estate Management between 1975 and 1980. He went to the University of Reading, London, for postgraduate studies after his NYSC in Maiduguri in 1981 and came back in 1984.
He was the pioneer head of Department of Ramat Polytechnic, Maduguri. He later moved to Ilorin on special request to establish estate management at Kwara State Polytechnic. He was there between 1987 and 1991 as the pioneer head of department before moving to Futa to become one of the pioneer staff of the School of Environmental Technology in October 1991. He was the coordinator of the department at the time and resisted putting estate management under any other department during the formative years of the school between 1996 and 1997. He has a master's in business administration, also an associate member of the Institution of International Architects and Surveyors, also a member of International Real Estate Rating and Valuation, London, and is a fellow of Nigerian Institution of Estate Survey and Valuers. He has over 30 journal publications to his credit. He retired voluntarily from the service of Futa in 1998 to private practice. He is the principal partner of Sami Omani & Co. Estate Survey and Valuer in Akure. He is happily married and blessed with 6 children and 7 grandchildren. Distinguished Leadership and Investment, please welcome with me ESM Michael Elesami Omani for his award of excellence.
Thank you very much. Let me invite the Dean, School of Environmental Technology, Professor Bolaji Kazim, to do the presentation.
On behalf of the Department of Estate Management, I present this award of recognition to you.
Congratulations, sir. I would like to invite Professor A.S. Ashaju for the next award. And let me invite Dr. Ladapo to read the citation.
Good afternoon, citation of Professor A.S. Ashaju. Professor Adewaki Simon Ashaju was born on 22nd March 1960 in Ipetu Ijesha, Osun State. He attended St. Paul's Primary School, Ipetu Ijesha, between 1960 and 1971, and proceeded to St. Christos Catholic Final Secondary on Ede, where he had his secondary education between 1976 and 1980. He backed his BSc in Estate Management from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, in 1986, and from the same institution had his MSc between 1988 and 1990, and his PhD between 1990 and 1997. Professor Ashaju started his lecturing career as a graduate assistant in his alma mater, Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, in 1987 to 1990, and rose to the rank of a senior lecturer in 1996. He was the acting head of Department of Estate Management, OAU, between 1997 and 1999. Along the line, he was a visiting lecturer to the Federal University of Akure, Federal University of Technology, Akure, between 1995 and 1996. He was appointed as coordinator of the Department of Estate Management on the 28th November 1995 and reappointed on 24th July 1996. By July 2000, he transferred his services to Kuta as senior lecturer and was appointed as acting head of department in the same year 2000 and reappointed on 1st August 2001. He continued as the acting head of department and head of department till March 2007. Professor Ashadu became the first professor